All right, I think we're online for this unannounced surprise live stream. I'll just get on here for a brief moment or longer than a brief moment, and we'll have some Q&A and talk about the channel and take some questions, read your messages. Just kind of an informal stream. I did not announce this stream at all. Just everybody's coming in now. We'll see who joins us. It's okay if it's a small group or a big group. We'll just kind of see what happens. I've not streamed at this time frame before. I see a lot of people coming in here as we roll in. I'll give us a minute to kind of get calibrated. I think my camera's where I want it. I think you all can hear me. If y'all can sort of let me know. And already we've got a bunch of people. We've got who, and y'all can see my chat window, I think. JJ Zone, Snake, Spider Scorpion, Dragon Flare Frog, Harry Potter Fan, VLS Boy, Lathon Lopez, Shajita, User, Teacher's Pet Level Member. The Electric Trio, Triple E 2003 is here. Weston and Friends Adventures, Anthony Lubbers, Janice G, Hockey Fans, I Blakester. We miss you on the channel membership, by the way, I Blakester. Lathon Lopez, and I will be reading your messages, answering your questions, and we'll just kind of go from there. As usual, as you all know, if we do have any donators, it's okay if we don't, but if we do, I will skip straight to their message. That's what I always do. And I guess I have some messages to read already. Anthony Lubber says, "Hey Brandon, keep up the good work." Janice G says, "Hi." Hockey Fan, I think I already read these. And we've got, what was that? Anirid Venkataranan sent a gift, but I didn't see where it was. I tell you what, I'll read that when I get down to it. Okay. Dragon Flare Frog, are you excited for the new school year? Yeah. A lot of places, including in my area, most school districts have already started. Some parts of the U.S. don't start until like September, and they end in like June. Other parts, like my area, most of them start in August or even at the very end of July and go to like May. So, yes, I am excited, and it has already started for me. Professor Sassafras says, "How are you?" Brian Nussbaum sent a gift. Much appreciated. Can I click down? What happens if I click on it? And I totally messed it up. The gift sent jammin'. I appreciate it, Brian Nussbaum. You've been a part of the channel for a long, long time. Okay. I got Professor Sassafras asking how I am. I'm doing well. Hope you're doing well. Lathon Lopez, school year coming up. That's right. Shadow Bonnie says hello. Triple E letting me know he can hear me. Thank you. Wolfman, what up? What up? Anirud, I'm just going to call you that, says, "What cartoons besides SpongeBob would you be interested in reacting to?" I recommend Arthur and the Loud House. Both of those get recommended a lot. I'm going to have to do both of those eventually just because of the sheer number of recommendations. The Electric Trio, what will happen with Jade and Beck? Well, I have already watched quite a few episodes past the worst couple episode that came out, or my reaction that came out on Tuesday. So I do know, actually, I don't know what will happen with them. I don't think they've gotten back together yet. If they do that, no spoilers, please. I've seen the Car, Rain, and Fire episode, and I've seen, I think, one more past that, although I don't remember the title off the top of my head. Who Cares says, "Hey, Hank the Tank, thanks for joining us." Channel Mod says hello. Jay the Mac says, "What's up?" Snake, Spider, Scorpion, channel member, says, "I'm here." Dragon Flare says, "So happy you're going forward with Avatar." You know who to thank, don't you? You know who to thank. Tyler Bryant, channel member, says, "Good evening all." Who Cares says, "Hi, how's it going?" Sam Cook says, do you have any good stories about school librarians? I'm finishing up a master's degree in library science. That's really, really cool. We do need media specialists. I don't hear the term school librarian anymore, at least not in my area. It's always media specialists. Good stories about school librarians. Stories like crazy stuff that's happened with them? Not really. Most media specialists or school librarians that I've worked with are just really good. Typically, very organized, as you can imagine. They don't really fit the stereotype of like the old school, like really harsh librarian. They just don't. They're kind of the exact opposite. And their mission is really to get kids to read as much as possible. Ibrahim says, hey. Lathon says, so what's for next week? Next week, I think it's, we got your next Victorious, which I don't remember off the top of my head. SpongeBob, I think, is Whale of a Birthday, I think is what it is, if that's what you're asking. Let me keep on going and load. Snake Spider Scorpion channel member donated $2. I really appreciate it. He says, you can call me Triple S if it's easier. Okay, if I can remember that, Triple S instead of Snake Spider Scorpion. And I'm already behind. I'm already way behind. I'm so sorry. Not again. Harry Potter fan, channel member. Have you had a chance to watch any episodes of Smallville? I have not. Only a few people have recommended that, honestly. It's on the list, but it's not high up on the list. Janice G mentions The Loud House. And Nerud sent a gold coin for 10 jewels. I really appreciate that. Huge Slop says, will you watch the Skip Victorious? I'll consider that. I don't know if I will. I did skip a couple of them. I'll consider it. Avi says, my son wants to know if you can do Berenstein Bears. If you're who I'm thinking about, I do remember your comment. I did read your comment about that. Sometimes if I don't heart a comment, it's not because I didn't like the comment. It's because I'm intentionally saving it. Because for me, once I heart something, it kind of disappears and gets lost from my feed on the YouTube Studio app. So I can. It is on my list. I do want to. It may have to wait until more people recommend it, but it is on the list for me to do. So eventually I will do it. The Berenstein Bears. I do remember those books vividly from when I was little. They were still around. Berenstein Bears. Very good show and book series. Lathon says, Darman. Yeah, a lot of people recommend that. Hank the Tank, I posted your stream in Discord. I really appreciate it. I don't know if Sapphire did that on their own, but thank you for that. Dragon Flare Frog, I hope you do Zoe 101 after Victorious. Brian Nussbaum says, evening Brandy, who's worse in season 3, Cat or Cookie? Oh, I know what you mean. Well, Cat, Cookie's worse. Cookie's way worse because Cat isn't devious. He's not like a liar or just shameless. She's just kind of ditzy. I mean, she's just sort of spaced out all the time. She's not devious, so Cookie's worse. Harry Potter fan says you should react to Over the Garden Wall. Triple E says, I really enjoyed your content, especially SpongeBob. Brian Nussbaum sent Jammin for 200 jewels. I really appreciate it, Brian Nussbaum. Appreciate your all your comments on the channel. You've been watching for a long time. I remember certain usernames I remember. Janice G says, can you watch Clarence? That comes up sometimes. Weston and Friends says, I go back to school next week for my sophomore year. I hope everything goes well. Just try to start with good habits early. Turner Winstead says, do you think you can watch The Magic School Bus? That is definitely going to happen. There's a lot of recommendations for that. Caddy Crashy says hello. Lathon says, I think after Victorious, it's going to be a challenge between Zoe 101. Abbott Elementary comes up a lot. It may end up being Abbott Elementary, but we'll see. Hank the Tank says, thanks again for the shout-out and the funniest moments. Yeah, you contributed to that, Hank the Tank, so I appreciate it. Lathon says, how did I get 3? You mean number 3, I think, just because of your comments, commenting a lot. Gold Lee Gamer, channel member, says hello. Robin Cruz says, hi there, just joined. Shajita says, I made plans to go to San Diego to see the Yankees game. Triple S Says most elementary, middle, high schools in the area have already started class, but the university doesn't start for 12 more days. And that's the way it is here, too. The university system starts much, much later than the public school system does. Electric Trio says, can you do Malcolm in the Middle? That's on the list as well. Dragon Flare Frog says, some schools start late July and end in May. Yeah, they do. Now, when I say the end of July, I mean like maybe July 31st or July 30th. Like literally the very, very end of July. Brett Reply says, I saw some of your Victorious reactions. Ill Dragonfly, which I think is a fairly new channel member. Thank you for your channel membership. Says you should react to regular show. That's also on the list. Lathon says, my college semester starts August 24th, and I got jury duty for the 30th. Good luck on both of those. I'm in my 40s now, and I've never gotten jury duty, ever. I don't know how I managed to do that, but hopefully I won't jinx it. Turner says, where did you get your Crubs costume? I think I got it from Target.com. It wasn't a Crubs costume. It was marketed as a detective costume. So you could, I don't know if they still sell it, but you could probably find it if you really wanted to. Wolfpack says, out of all the shows, what principal would you want to become? People ask this, and I usually say Ned's Declassified. Robin Crew says, I'd love to see you review Arthur. Yep. Dragon Tales. Dragon Tales, Dragon Tales. It's almost time for Dragon Tales. What was the rest? Come along, take my hand. It's almost, let's all go to Dragonland. Something like that. It's not a show I watched. I was kind of too old for that by that point, but I heard it advertised all the time. And it's got one of those theme songs that are really, really catchy. I'm going to have to start skipping some messages because I'm just that far behind. So, sorry if I skip yours. Brett Reply says, what other shows do you have planned? I have a whole gigantic list, and it all comes from you guys, the viewers. So, I wouldn't even know where to start. Andrew Wright mentions my gym partner's a monkey. There would have to be more recommendations. Western Warrior says, I really enjoy your SpongeBob videos. I appreciate that. KCK says, you should react to Lemonade Mouth. Not familiar with it. Avi says, My Hero Academia. Yes. Yes. I think about that often. I want to go back to that because that's the one. I tried out all these animes. I watched Dragon Ball Z. I watched Naruto. I watched One Piece. And I'm sorry if you're a fan of those shows. It just wasn't my thing, you know? For whatever reason, I did like My Hero Academia. Also, the other one I liked that was good was Yu Yu Hakusho. That one was pretty good as well. Wolfman Art, the Owl House. Yeah, it's funny. I've got the Loud House, the Owl House, and there's another one. There's another house. Turner Winstead said, did you watch the Locked Up Victorious episode? I didn't review it, obviously. I kind of skimmed through it enough to know that I definitely want to skip it, simply because something's in my eyeball. Simply because there are no school scenes. $10 donation from Kaimani Burrell. How did I not guess that? Kaimani says, for $10, hey Brandon and everyone, how are you today? I enjoyed the Avatar reaction, and I love your connection of King Bumi to the other character. I took the show, took that as inspiration as well. And by the other character, he's talking about, I had said that the guy from King Bumi, the guy from the King of Omashu, is it called? He kind of reminded me of the Bridge of Death guy from Monty Python and the Holy Grail, if you've seen that movie, where he says, the Bridge of Death. He says, you must answer the questions 3. There, the other side, ye see. And he this whole thing, if you've seen it, I won't do the whole thing. But yes, I appreciate it, Kaimani, for the $10 donation. Okay, let's keep on going and try and catch up a little bit. Sorry if I skip your message, okay? I'm sorry. Recess. Who cares? Mentions Recess. I definitely want to come back to Recess. at some point. Hank the Tank says, "What do you think? What did you think of R. Lee Ermey?" Yeah, you saw it, right? The Inmates of Summer. My reaction. I was pretty blown away by that. I was pretty surprised. I don't read or watch anything about these episodes beforehand because I want my reaction to be as authentic as possible. And so I was totally blown away. And I see something else from Kaimani. He sent one. Okay, let me zoom. Let me go down to this, or scroll down, not zoom. He donated one school principal reacts. And for those of you who don't know, whenever someone donates a membership, it's kind of fun because they give it to a random person in the chat. It used to be Hall Pass, which you don't really get that much with Hall Pass because it doesn't cost very much. But this is Honor Roll. This is the one where you get all the videos early, you get all the members only videos. So Brian Nussbaum, I would say Brian is very deserving of a membership because he's been on the channel for so long. Channel membership for free, thanks to Kaimani Burrell. So now you're a channel member, Brian Nussbaum. All right, I'm just going to kind of skim through. I want to read them all, but it's not going to be possible unless I just, people get frustrated when I don't. Let me try and read at least some of them here. Let's see. Yeah, I was right about here. I'm just skimming through. Yeah, Sam Cook mentions librarian. You just don't hear it that much anymore. Media specialist is typically what you hear. Another one, Kaimani. My goodness. Kaimani gives away another one, and who got it? Hank the Tank. Hank the Tank. Hank the Tank is another one very, very deserving of a channel membership, and it's random. To my knowledge, it's random. I don't do it. I don't think Kaimani does it. He just donates the membership, and YouTube just automatically gives it to a random chat participant or a live stream participant. And Hank the Tank, channel mod, there you go. There's your channel membership. Very, very deserving. And what happens, people always ask, you get it for a month. I'm trying to find my place here. I think I was, oh man, I'm behind. Somewhere up here. But you get it for a month, and then if you don't want to pay after a month, that's fine. They just kind of take it away after that, but you get it for free for a whole month. So feel free to, I've got several members only videos that are just members only, including School of Rock, including, I think I reacted to A Christmas Story. I think I reacted to a bunch of other ones that I've forgotten about. Power Rangers. There's a Dragon Ball out there somewhere. So those are out there. So congrats. Okay, I'm going to scroll down. Harry Potter fan says, to be fair, Smallville is more on the adult side. Yeah, I'll have to look at that. If it's too much, so I can't do it. Okay. Abraham, does the students in your school know about your YouTube channel? Not really. Not really. The Charlatan says, I enjoy your non-school related reactions. Daniel Della Torre says, as a principal, how do you deal with elitism in teachers or your students? I had a principal that when I was in high school didn't clean house like he should have. Elitism, it kind of depends on what you're talking about. I mean, you can't fire someone for elitism, quote unquote. You can fire them for, behaving unethically or violating the school board policy. And if that's whatever they did to do that is elitist, then yeah, I guess. But just having kind of a stuck-up attitude, that alone, you can't fire people for that. You have to be careful. Especially if they have tenure, and that's a whole nother subject, teacher tenure. All right. Scrolling down, Avi says, I'm exactly who you're thinking about. My son and I love you. He has to watch you every day. I really appreciate that, and I did see your comment to that effect. I'm glad to hear that, and glad that you all enjoy watching my videos together. Nightbeat Studio says, I've got a funny story to tell. Earlier, I was watching a student throw a shoe at a teacher in detention, and immediately I thought, that's a potential suspension. Yeah, people say that to me. They say that now that I did, and it was just kind of random when I started it on an episode of Ned's Declassified. I just started doing the potential firing counter, and everybody just loved it, so I kept doing it. And people now will say that they watch some other show, some other random show, and they'll say they'll say that's a potential firing, or that's a potential suspension, because of the channel. I think that's pretty cool. Robin Cruz says, I love the Berenstein Bears. Sorry if I skip your message. User also loves the Berenstein Bears. Yeah, they're popular. Electric Trio says, much appreciated for bringing back administrator from the U.S. state of Georgia. Yeah, so I stopped saying that for a little while because I felt guilty I didn't want to say it because I was not actually a principal. I didn't have that title anymore after June 30th. But I'm still an administrator. I don't have that exact title. So yeah, I can start doing that. I'll just say an administrator. People got used to that. I used to do every single video for like 2 years, over 2 years. I would say, I'm Brandon, a principal from the U.S. state of Georgia. I would always do that. That's always what I would say. Nightbeat says the teacher called the student a nincompoop and thought that's a potential fight. Yeah, probably is. Talking about Berenstein Bears. Dragon Flare says, any Supreme Court cases on education or higher education you're paying attention to? Yeah, not any one in particular. I mentioned on a previous live stream that once or twice a year I do get updated by attorneys and different conferences that I watch on Supreme Court cases that have come down that have been decided. A lot of times I don't hear about them until a ruling comes out, and then all the schools have to figure out, how do we implement this? Same thing for like state laws. State laws actually have a greater impact. Education is one of those things that's handled more at the state level and the local level than the federal level, believe it or not. So, but the Supreme Court decisions do matter, particularly with things like, well, I won't go into it, but think of the most controversial things in education. Those are what typically get decided by the Supreme Court. Let's see. Scroll down. Sorry if you're at the bottom waiting for me to get to the bottom and you're like, man, I wish you'd hurry up. I will get there. Alexander says, hope you reach 25K subs before the end of the year. Yeah, very possible. At the rate it's going, probably so. Harry Potter fan says, my husband is starting his 5th year teaching next week. He's still super anxious, still trying to calm him down. But yeah, and it takes time. It does take time to get used to it. Jason Hoffarth, another channel member, says, hey, Brandon, are you planning on reacting to Abbott Elementary? I want to. It's a contender for after Victorious, I can tell you that. People will always say to me, something that they saw on Abbott Elementary and that I need to watch it. And by the way, if you're a channel member, I'll try to at least read your messages. I'll try not to skip them. Brian Nussbaum mentions Miss Frizzle. The field trips. I've never really seen a whole lot of Magic School Bus. I see it advertised a lot, but I haven't seen a lot of it, which is good, right? Because I can react to it. Brad Couch mentions Dexter's Lab, and those episodes, Brad, I have had recommended to me. Trapped with a Vengeance and Detention Dexter. Maybe you did. I'm not sure. JJ says Abbott Elementary curses. It depends on how much they do. If it's like once every now and again, I can edit that out. If it's like all the time, that's different. So I'll have to look at that. Okay. Snake Spider Scorpion says, yesterday made 9 years since I lived in a dorm room for the first time and started getting my first taste of adult life and freedom. Yep, I totally understand. Isaac, in New York, the university starts sooner than public schools. Interesting. Snake says, Snake, I think I'm going to call you Snake, if that's all right. Just Snake. That'll be easiest. Snake Spider Scorpion. Number 2, Gold Lee Gamer says, I'm watching an episode of Press Your Luck. Okay, that's cool. One of them's from your hometown, the teachers. Carmichael says, how much are you enjoying Victorious? I don't think it's ridiculous and weak per se. I really enjoy it because certain parts of it are true to life, particularly the art school, the fact that it's an art school. And I always mention, because it's true, I didn't teach there. I was an assistant principal there at an art school that's a lot like Hollywood Arts. Green Laser, are there any projects or tasks you were really proud of when you were a student? Projects or tasks? Not really. I was proud of getting the John Philip Sousa Award, if you know what that is. I was given that in high school, which was pretty cool. Somewhere at my old high school, there's an add-on plaque where you have who got it every year, and my name is there somewhere. Let's see, Janice, or that says, or that episode where he was attacked by dodgeballs. I'm gonna have to skip some. Sorry. Brad Couch, could you do a Breakfast Club reaction? I've heard it's really bad as far as the content. So no, my content is gonna be rated G pretty much forever, at least until I retire. But I wouldn't want to do anything that's got to have a bunch of bad stuff in it. Avi says, I'm 20, struggling with major panic attacks. Can you give me some advice? It happens in public and at night. Yeah, that's a bummer. When I was much younger, I would have that also, and it can be really debilitating. You got to know your triggers. You got to know what calms you down, and that's different for every person. For me, going outside really helped, getting in a wide open space. They say, and I think it's true, but it's easier said than done, controlling your breathing, breathing slowly, forcing yourself to breathe slowly, and also just knowing in your head, like, this panic attack feels like it's going to hurt me, but it cannot hurt me. It cannot easily hurt me. It's in my head. These feelings, the feelings are real, but I'm not going to have a heart attack and die from a panic attack. I'm not saying that's impossible, but I'm saying it's not likely. You're not going to have that happen. It can't really harm you. But I'm sorry to hear that. Let me keep on going. Dragon Flare says, "Oh, come on, you don't want to do jury duty a little bit?" I don't know. It might be interesting, but for most people, it's very boring, or they get called to jury duty and they don't get put on the actual jury, so they end up just wasting an entire day. Harry Potter fan says, "I loved Dragon Tales as a kid." Man, I'm way behind. I'm so sorry. To the 50 of you who are here right now. I'm gonna have to just skim through and read the interesting ones and the channel member ones. User says Dragon Tales. Yep. Snake Spider Scorpion says Shell Shocked is in season 6. Okay, I'm so behind. I'm gonna have to do that. I'm gonna have to skip. Very sorry if I skip your message. I am kind of skimming over them, if that makes it any better. Fern says, have you done any gaming streams lately? No, I haven't. I want to, though. I want to go back and play Millionaire again and maybe do some different day. Oh, okay. Channel members. I'm glad you jogged my memory about something. I was going to do a community post, and maybe I still will if I can stay awake long enough. I'm starting to get tired already because here on the East Coast, it's after 10 p.m., and I do wake up early. But Minecraft, okay? We were talking about Minecraft. If you are a channel member, any level, even Hall Pass, I think we're going to try to do this Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern, possibly, okay? I'll put it on the community post where everybody can see it. If you have Minecraft Java Edition, I have a paid server, and what we'll do is we will get on the only way I can do it where only members can play is I'll do a members only live stream, and then you all will get on the members only live stream, and then I'll share the server information where you can join the server. And then the playing won't be live, but I will record it so that then I'll post it as a video, a normal video, and then you all can be, or at least your avatar can be in the video. Should be a lot of fun, and we could turn that into a regular thing or just a one-time thing. But Monday is when I'm thinking about trying to do that, and I'll post it on the community post so you can be aware, and for the channel members who aren't currently on this live stream. Okay, let's keep on going. Sorry if I skip your message. Steak says, I need to get around to watching The Last Airbender. That's why I've been avoiding the reactions on your channel. Kaimani says, trust and believe I have the Korra list already as well. Brian says, did you enjoy Arlie Army? Yeah, that really kind of blew me away. I didn't know that he was on it before I watched it. Excuse me. Okay. I am skimming down here. Darren Haverlock says, hey, Brandon, have you ever thought about what career path you might have ended up? Yeah, I was thinking either military band was something I was thinking about for a long time, and then also being an attorney. I do like the law, and I do have to study education law a lot. So those are ones that I've thought about before. Okay, skimming down again. Sorry if I have to skip you. There's a lot of messages that haven't even loaded yet on my screen. Mr. Krabs, the Go Animate Crab, says no running in the halls. Robin says, will Diary of a Wimpy Kid movies be reviewed soon? Only the first and second. Yeah, I don't mind going back to that. I did Diary of a Wimpy Kid, I think the first one, very early on in the channel's history. Ibrahim says, I think you already asked that. User said, this may be an odd question, but should students be afraid of the principal? I remember you mentioning this on the Discord. No, they shouldn't. The best principals kind of work around that. Now, they do, some people do that kind of on purpose because they want, they want the rules obeyed. So they want students to take them seriously, but it's not a good practice. I mean, you want to be respected, but you don't want to be feared. That's not exactly, what you want. Let's see. All right, I knew it would happen. It loaded all the new messages. My goodness. I was way up here. Yeah, way up here. Let me skim through, okay? The Charmed Hunter says, hello, Principal Brandon. Nice to see you. This is where Hank was getting a channel membership. Turner Winstead says, which MLP episode is your favorite? I liked actually the first one. The first one and the most recent one that I did. The first one was where Testing 1 2 3 was the name of it. And then the most recent one was the one where they pick a vice head mayor or whatever. Those were good. I want to go back to My Little Pony. You can see them there on the shelf there. I've got a bunch of them to watch. Harry Potter fan says, while you may not be able to record yourself reacting to Smallville, just watch it on your own. Okay. I know it's one of those shows that I never actually watched. There are a bunch of these where I never watched it, but it would always come on after something that I watched, so I know the opening theme. Somebody save me, I do remember that. Okay. Who Cares says, how do you or teachers stop students nowadays using AI to do book reports? Well, you can usually tell because it's like a perfect paper and it's like completely different from that student's normal writing. They know. And it's funny. It's like a constant, game of defending against that and, attacking the integrity of school where a new AI program will come out, and then there'll be an AI program designed to detect AI writing, and then there'll be another AI to kind of try to defeat that. So it's a constant battle on that. Brian Nussbaum says, how many firings does Psychowitz have so far? I do not know, but it's a lot, and I bet Steven Turquoise knows. He helps me count these up. Avi says, can you do suspension counters in SpongeBob? Well, that would be kind of funny, I guess, but, you can't be suspended if you're not even in school. Brad Couch says, were you into SpongeBob before you started the channel? No, I wasn't, because I'd only seen one episode ever, if you can believe that, and that was Band Geeks. I had never seen any other episode, which is good now because I can react to them for the first time. The Charm says, what's your favorite wrestler? I don't know if I have a favorite wrestler. Harry Potter fan says, my husband often has his students do stuff via handwriting and speaking orally as he teaches Mandarin and Japanese. That's impressive. Robin says, you should make potential suspension and potential firing shirts and merch. I do have some. You know what I thought about getting, I don't actually own one. I have a couple of things. I have the mug right over there. My head's blocking it a little bit. And then I have this shirt. I need to get me some potential firing shirts to wear on some of the videos. That would be cool. Jay Medley says hello. Andrew says, what are some Disney Channel sitcoms that are on your list? I'm not sure which ones are Disney and which ones are not. The only ones I know for sure that are Disney are Recess, and then which one? The Proud Family. Is that Disney? I think it is. Lathon says, like, how unfair is public schools can force uniforms? Yeah, they can do that. Some do, some don't. That's up to the school board. People don't realize, like, the federal government doesn't have all that much power as far as the day-to-day operation of a school. It doesn't have any power. What it does have is money. That's what it has. All of the stuff like that is decided by the local school board of your county or your school district. And so those people do have a lot of power when it comes to what goes on in schools. Llama says, do you think you'll ever be a principal again? It's possible. I'm not trying to do that right now. I suppose it's theoretically possible, but I'm happy doing what I'm doing. MTB says, too bad I graduated high school in 2025. Leon Corgi says, do you think schools should bring back smoke or vape breaks like in the 70s and 80s? I wasn't around in the 70s. I don't know if they had smoke breaks. It seems sort of weird. I have heard stories about, like, teachers, smoking, just, having class, smoking, it's kind of crazy to think about. No, I don't think that, because both smoking and vaping are very bad for you. I have a thing about vaping. Sorry if you vape. If you vape, I hope you stop vaping. It's not good for you. I'm not saying it's easy to stop vaping. It's hard. I don't know from experience, but that's just what it seems like. Nicotine is in those, and you get addicted, and it's very, very hard to stop. I do understand that, but I hope you do stop if you do smoke or vape. It's not very good for you. Turner Winstead says, what are you going to be for Halloween this year? I do not know. That's a good question. I don't know if I'll do that or not, but I did it, I guess, last year for Vice Principal Krubs, didn't I? Okay. Lathon Lopez says, react to the Ron Clark movie. I might sometime. I've been to the Ron Clark Academy and met Ron Clark. So I have a lot of experience with that. SG 2029 says, hello, principal of reactions. I thought about calling myself the principal of YouTube. I don't know if that sounds, egotistical or whatever, but let's see, what do we got here? I am skimming through these. If I don't read your message out loud, I am reading it in my head. Jason Hoffarth says Magic School would be fun to react to at least 1 or 2 episodes. I assume you mean Magic School Bus. Mason Marley, channel member. No offense intended, but why do you seem to enjoy watching shows meant for kids? Because people recommend them. I mean, that's really the only reason people recommend them. They have a bit of nostalgia from when they watched them when they were kids or when they were growing up. That's the reason. I mean, that's the reason. I don't seek that out. That's just what people recommend. Avi says, how did you handle autistic or ADHD students? Well, you give them what they need is what you do. It's how you handle them. You give them what they need, and usually they have other accommodations, depending on their disability, and you give them what they need is how you handle them. And everyone is very different. Let's see. Turner Winstead says Yo Gabba Gabba reaction will be next year, maybe. Yeah, maybe before that. I can probably do that. Harry Potter fan says, what time do you normally wake up? Sometime around 5:30, 6 a.m., sometime around there, depending on how tired I am. Talon says, it's okay if you're far behind. Their school principal reactions, you're the best reacting to SpongeBob like the inmates of summer. I appreciate that, Talon. Starting to get tired. Okay, starting to get tired. So, but I'm going to keep going for a little while longer. Chandler Owen says, what SpongeBobs are coming up? Whale of a Birthday. Mimic Madness, that's this Friday. That's tomorrow, I think. Whale of a Birthday. The Secret Box, that's happening in a few weeks. The other one that I've already done is, what is it? Whale of a Birthday, Secret Box, Sleepy Time. Sleepy Time is one of my new favorites. That one's almost right up there with Cracked Crabs, Krusty Towers, and the rest. Kaimani Burrell, member for 21 months, principal's office, says, my channel anniversary is coming up soon, and you didn't used to be able to do this, I don't think, where I can just click on it and the message comes right up. He says, also, I will say it here so everyone can give their input, but September is going to be Season 1, Episode 9, The Waterbending Scroll, which is a teaching-ish episode into waterbending. A lot requested, too. Yeah, I'm happy to do that one next, and I appreciate the continued principal's office level membership. There's only a few principal's office level. There's a few principal's office, there's several teacher's pet, and there's a whole bunch of honor roll, and then a handful of hall pass as well. Okay. Scroll down, let the messages load. Is that another donation? It is. It is. Kaimani Burrell, sorry, I let it sit there for a minute. I did not see it. I must have been really locked in. Kaimani with a $5 donation says, Monday sounds great. I wouldn't have been able to join, sadly, because of work. Next time, we'll keep inventory beyond. And did you see my 21 months message? Well, I just read it. Yeah. I'm so behind. So thanks, Kaimani. Somehow I didn't see this. I normally skip straight to the message. But yeah, we'll do it again, especially if everybody enjoys it. We'll do it again for sure. But you asked about the inventory. I don't know. What I may do is get people's comments beforehand as far as like the settings of the server, but I can possibly do that. Or not, if people don't want me to do it. All right, where was I at? My goodness. Way up here somewhere. And I'm sorry, I missed a donation. 2 donations. My goodness. I'm going to have to just skip a whole bunch of them is what I'm going to have to do. Carmichael 9601 with a $2 donation. I'm very sorry. I don't know how I didn't see that. Says, I think Drake and Josh is a lot of our favorite show. Yeah, people do like that. I actually liked it. Josh, or Drake, whichever one is the annoying one. I think it's Drake. Kind of annoys me a lot, but that's okay. Such a turd. Nice for joining us. Thanks for joining us. $1.99 donation says, school motto of Greendale is lower your standards. That doesn't sound great, but all right. Yeah, I think I got all the other donations at this point. Yep. Yep. So I can scroll down a bit. Sorry again if I skip you. I'll start right here. Harry Potter fan says, "Ooh, have you reacted to Kim Possible?" I have done one or two, I think. I have. Nightbeat Studios is suggesting I Enrage Gibby from iCarly. Talks about bullying that starts outside a school environment but gets carried over into the school environment. Yeah, you can anything that causes a disruption at school, you can jump on, even if it started outside of school. Fan Factor is asking about King of the Hill Halloween. Ooh, get sleepy. Y'all hear me yawning? All right. I've already read these messages. Sorry. I'm gonna. Andrew Rodenbucker says, "What are you drinking?" I was drinking Monster. This is some obviously that I bought prior to the 4th of July. I just haven't drank it yet. And don't worry, it won't keep me up. I have a high tolerance to caffeine, unfortunately, so it'll keep me awake just long enough to finish this stream is what it's going to do. Okay, Kayla says, "Can you do a live reaction to the Victorious episode, Tori and Jade's Playdate?" I cannot, and the reason I can't is I couldn't remember the last one that I actually watched. That was it. It was Tori and Jade's Playdate. There were quite a few potential firings in that one for Psychowitz. So no, I cannot, but, and I don't like doing live reactions just because if there's something in there that I don't want on the channel, if it's live, I can't cut it out, right? So that's why I don't do too many of those. Easy Cheese says hello. Total Gamer says, would I consider reacting to Drake and Josh when Victorious ends? I don't want to do it as like an entire series, unless it's going to be like all in school, and I don't think it is. But I can do certain episodes for sure. Let's see. User Monitor. Yeah, that one wasn't bad. When I do those little impressions or whatever, I can never tell how good it's going to be until it comes out of my mouth, and sometimes it's good and sometimes it's horrible. Larry Jester says, "Hope you're doing well." I hope you're doing well as well. Easy Cheese mentions My Little Pony, and I have no idea what those are. Hank the Tank sent a gift. Oh, no. I just wanted the gift. Okay, he sent Jammin'. I think that's said 200 gems or jewels is what it says. I'll scroll down to it. User said the principal can sing. Yep. Mary Roberts says, "Hi, Brandon." Lathon says, "Sometimes it's hard to tell the difference between AI and real." Yeah, sometimes. Harry Potter fan says, "And your warm hand break." You're doing the Smallville song. Squid Soft Squishy UGA says, "I thought it was Band Geeks and Sailor Mouth." I think maybe I'd seen a little piece of Sailor Mouth, but not really. Sorry if I skip your message. Caddy Crashy, yeah. I like money. Not bad, right? I did, what was that? Did I do the impression in Inmates of Summer? Or there was one of them where I did it's Mimic Madness that's coming out tomorrow, but the channel members have already seen it. Channel members get my videos on Sunday morning, even for the Friday and Saturday video, so like a whole week early. So yeah, the Mr. Krabs, I like money. That wasn't as good as the first one. Okay. Lathon says Dade County School District is strict, wearing polo shirt and khaki pants. Yeah, I mean, if a school does school uniforms, that's usually what it is. Plain khaki or plain polo shirt, or a polo shirt with like the school logo on it, and then like khaki shorts or pants, or navy pants or shorts. I've seen that a lot. Kinetics asking about Pale Blue Dot. No, I haven't seen it or listened to it yet. Darren Haverlock says, "What's one of your favorite video games of all time?" There's a bunch. I used to be really into role-playing games like Final Fantasy, Chrono Trigger, Games like that. Ross Bristow says, how much has school changed since I graduated in 2008? Quite a bit, both in terms of teaching techniques and school policy and stuff like that. Unfortunately, we see a lot more safety drills, active shooter drills, fire drill. Well, I won't go into that about the drills. And then also standards have changed. Some places what you need to graduate has even changed. Dual enrollment and career education is a much bigger deal than it was then. A lot of things have changed. Some things are the same, though. Okay. Caddy Crashy says, I did encounter one time at school in the bathroom where tons of boys started smoking in the bathroom. Yeah, unfortunately, I've had that happen before, and we put a stop to it. There are schools where that happens a lot, and there are schools where that never happens. iDragonFly, channel member, says, have you seen the SpongeBob episode Born Again Crabs? No, but a lot of people ask for it. I'll have to check it out. JJ says, you should be Mr. Krabs for Halloween. That'd be something, wouldn't it? Okay. User and Jason Hoffar talking about me being a SpongeBob character for Halloween. That would be interesting. Soft Squishy Shuga says... I said something different before. Says, do any of your students watch your videos? Probably a small number, but not a lot. I don't really talk about it at school. Blakester says, I'm autistic. Okay. And I just totally lost where I was at. Okay, here we go. All right. I'm going to scroll down a bit and try to finish this out in the next 10 minutes or so. Robin Cruz says Backyardigans reactions would be great to see. Yeah, I remember the theme song, We're Your Best Friends, the Backyard. Yeah. These kids show songs will get in your head and they will not leave. Okay, sorry if I skip your message. Zachary Goff said, what's the name of your next SpongeBob reaction? We've got Mimic Madness tomorrow, I think. Right? And then Whale of a Birthday is the next week. Okay, Mason Marley says, I'm going to see Jason Aldean on Saturday. Wish me luck. Ramon Ramirez says, can you please watch the two faces of Squidward? I do plan to do that. And you don't have to spam it. Okay, please don't spam. Who Cares says, what is your favorite energy drink? Monster's all right. It's very convenient because everywhere sells it. I like Celsius. I like Red Bull. I think Red Bull has become my new favorite. I don't like the regular ones so much, but I like the sugar-free versions of some of the other flavored ones. There's an iced vanilla one that's pretty good. Some of the berry-flavored ones are really good. The watermelon one is pretty good. So I do like those. I'm trying to cut back on it, though, and just drink coffee, because coffee is at least a natural product. Whereas energy drinks really, really are not. They're just very convenient. JJ Zone says, what moment do you find the funniest in your channel history of all time? I don't know. You guys probably know better than me. Because for me, I've recorded over 500 videos at this point. I don't know. It might be the SpongeBob Mermaid Man. I can't even say it. I'm getting tired. Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 3. He's like, I found this ID. You're Patrick Starr. I found this ID in this wallet. Yep. So this must be your wallet. Sounds good to me. And then he's like, we'll take it. Oh, it's not my wallet. So, okay. Have we lost the stream? Did the stream crash? All right. I'm not sure if the stream crashed. Something happened, though. I'm not sure what it was. So sorry if I lost you for a minute. I think I have everybody. If you all can just let me know. Can you still see me, hear me, and everything? I don't know what happened there. For me, on my end, it looked like I lost the stream for a minute. Okay, thanks, Harry Potter fan. Appreciate it. Let me know that you're there. I'm going to scroll up a little bit, and I see this was from earlier. Hank the Tank sent Jammin' for 200 jewels. Really appreciate it, Hank the Tank. Hope you enjoy your new channel membership. Okay, I think this was about where I was, actually. All right. Harry Potter. Okay, stop it. All right. Just stop it. All right. Maybe if I click on it and then go back. All right. All right. Sorry about that. Harry Potter fan says, sorry, I know I mentioned Smallville a lot. That's totally fine. User says midlife crustacean is banned. Yes, a lot of people mention that, and then more people mention that it's banned. Shiver and Fear says, hi, Brandon. How's it going? It's going well. A little tired, but it's going well. Angelo mentioned Sun Bleached. A lot of people recently, right after I did the Inmates of Summer last Friday, mentioned that one. So I'll probably have to try to do that one here soon before the summer completely ends. And did you know summer doesn't completely end and technically until September 21st, I believe. Emma Mitchell says, sorry if this has been asked, but if you could order anything from the Krusty Krab, what would you order? Probably, I mean, the Krabby Patty. You got to go with the Krabby Patty. You got to. So I think that's what it would be. Angelo says, are you going to do House Fancy and the Splinter? And he's asking that because of how gross they are. I've not seen them, but I know they're like the grossest episodes. So yes, I will eventually do them. Avi says, did you ever have to go into the girls' bathroom to get students in trouble? Only in an extreme emergency. So the answer to your question is yes, but only if it's like, somebody's being hurt or somebody needs an ambulance or somebody, and that has happened a few times. If it's something less than that, you get a female staff member to go in there. There are many, many times I will say to someone, to a female staff member, I'll say, hey, I think this is happening in there. Can you go check? Please check it out, or go look for this student, or go look for this happening, whatever I think is going on, either vaping or filming or someone's on the phone or something worse than that. Now, if it's life or death, yeah, you go in there. You obviously shouldn't do that 99.9999% of the time. But if someone's needs an ambulance or needs immediate medical assistance and it's life or death, yes, you do that. You just go in. Because no one's going to blame you for that if you're trying to help someone or save someone's life. Okay, good question. Never been asked that. Let's see. Nightbeat says, actually, you should be SpongeBob. You already got the fit, the white shirt, the tie, and maybe the pants. Yeah. I mean, if just wearing a white shirt and a red tie makes you SpongeBob, then yeah. Let's see. Ramon says, yeah, you're saying the same thing over and over again, which I don't like, so please don't do that. Jason Huffar says, would you ever watch Ant Farm? Sure, I would, if people recommend it. Soft Squishy says, have any student ever come up to you talking about finding a reaction channel? Yes, they have. There was a period of time where students were doing that. Yes. They didn't make it a big deal. They didn't make it a big thing, which I appreciated. They would just come up to me and ask about it. It wasn't actually that bad. Andrew says, what's the next Victorious reaction on Tuesday? I think it's Andre's Horrible Girl, maybe. I think is the next one. I think that's the case. Robin says, I'd like to see you dress up as Patchy the Pirate or the Flying Dutchman. Those both sound pretty interesting. Actually, $5 donation. I actually caught it that time. Man from Somewhere 1 with $5 donation. I really appreciate it. Man from Somewhere 1 says, can you react to SpongeBob Season 4, Episode 13, New Leaf and Once Bitten? I can definitely do that. Once Bitten has not been recommended very much. New Leaf does have some. So between the two of them, New Leaf is probably going to be first. But Man from Somewhere won. Really appreciate your donation very, very much for sure. Okay, let's keep going. Yeah, JJ Zone. That's not my wallet. Yes. All right, let me scroll up just a little bit. And I missed this one. I'm sorry about that. If I missed your donation, I will read it. It just may take me a minute. My goal is to read them immediately. Official Red Wolf 980 with a $2 donation says, did you ever see Sweet Life on Deck? I did not. I'm not 100% sure what that is, so you'd have to fill me in, but I'm happy to consider taking a look at it for sure. Official Red Wolf 980, thank you so much for the donation. Okay. Jason Hoffarth says kelp shake. Yeah, I remember that. The kelp shakes. Harry Potter fan says my husband is a coffee addict. I'm a coffee addict too, but it has to be good. I cannot. If you drink bad coffee, it just tastes like liquid cement and it burns your stomach. It's just not worth it. You got to get good coffee and good creamer, and then it's worth it completely. Jason Hoffarth says coffee is my go-to energy drink, but Celsius. Yeah, Celsius is pretty good. Celsius. I used to have a teacher at a previous school that would drink a Celsius every morning, and he got me hooked on it, and the rest is history. All right. Natster. Natster is here from all the way up in Canada. Nice to see you here. Big supporter of the channel from very early on. Natster says, I was about to go to bed, but found out about this. Yeah, just a little experiment. I wanted to see how many people would get on if we did it at a different time, and it just sort of a whim. It just kind of felt like doing a short live stream. I'm going to have to stop. I'm not doing no 2-hour live stream this time. Although, how long has it been? 1 hour and 1 minute, according to my streaming program here. Let's see. Let's read a few more. Gabby's here. Wow, Gabby's here. Let's see. Caddy Crashy says, saw you played instruments. I've never played a didgeridoo. That's one thing I've never played. If you don't know about that, it's the Australian instrument. It sounds like it's like every song about Australia, there's a didgeridoo in there. Yep, Gabby did a live stream just sort of on a whim, but it's coming to a close in the next 5 or 2 minutes. 5 or 2. I need to go to bed. 5 or 10 minutes. Gabby, I started streaming 1 hour ago. Didn't know you were streaming, she says. She said, did you like Mimic Madness? Just say yes or no. Yeah, I did. I did like it. It wasn't like way, way up there in terms of the enjoyment factor. I mentioned a few minutes ago, I don't know if you heard it, but Sleepy Time. Sleepy Time I really liked. And there's Kaimani again. $5 donation from Kaimani Burrell. Kaimani says, yeah, whenever it's $5 or more, it shows up. But, okay. Well, I thought I was just missing them, and I was feeling guilty about missing them, but it's not my fault, I guess. Kaimani says, yeah, whenever it's $5 or more, it shows up, but less does not. If you liked Omashu in Avatar, just you wait for Ba Sing Se and their culture. Can't wait, Kaimani. Thank you for the $5 donation. Where was I at? With Gabby asking about Mimic Madness. Yeah, it was pretty good. I liked Mimic Madness better than a lot of other ones, but it wasn't way up there with my all-time favorites. My all-time favorites are number 1, Crabs versus Plankton. Number 2, Krusty Towers. And number 3, Cracked Crabs. Sleepy Time was right up underneath Cracked Crabs, I think. It was really, really funny. Sleepy Time was. Where it kind of reminded me of the movie Inception, if you've seen that, because he like goes in other people's dreams and stuff. And it made me laugh so much. Mr. Krabs was dreaming about, it reminded me of the episode Clams, because he really does go clam fishing, but he's reeling in like a giant dollar bill, but then SpongeBob messes it up and he gets mad and he has to like run away from him. Was pretty funny. Gabby says, what's the next episode of SpongeBob? The next episode that I will react to, of course, tomorrow we have Mimic Madness. After that, it is Whale of a Birthday, which a lot of you guys recommended. Right when I did Squeaky Boots, in the comments of my reaction to Squeaky Boots, a ton of people said, please do Whale of a Birthday. And because, he tried to give the Squeaky Boots to Pearl and it didn't work out. So then he, Whale of a Birthday. It's all about you, girl. All right. And my camera has just died. Hold on a minute. My camera has just died. This might be the end of the stream. Oh no, my camera has completely died. I don't have another camera. I think you all can still hear me, but you can no longer see me. So I'm going to read a few other messages and then I'm going to have to stop. My camera has completely died. It's out of power. Okay. This is nice, isn't it? So I'm just going to skim through very quickly. Mason Marley says, do you drink alcohol? I do not. Jason says, you should react to the Goldberg sometime. Hank the Tank says, I'm crying because I have 2 ice cream cones and I only need 1. Yep. Oh, man. Sorry, I lost my camera and there's nothing I can do about it. There's literally nothing I can do about it. Gabby says, Brandon, I feel bad joining the stream late. That's perfectly fine. I will do another one not too long from now. I'll have my camera nice and charged up. Let's see. Scrolling down. Natster says, reminds me of when SpongeBob gave 1 ice cube instead of 2. Yeah, that was in I forgot, but I do remember that. Let's see. I read that already. I read Kaimani's donation. Are you guys saying, yeah, you guys saw that my camera cut out. Yeah, Hank the Tank says, womp, womp, womp. Yeah, there's nothing I can do. You all can still hear me probably, but there's no way for me to restore it tonight. No way. I have to charge it back up. Let's see. Gabby says Plankton's dream was amazing. Yeah, he gets crushed. Yeah. Well, I guess on that note, yeah, this cat is just like the little camera app that I use. It's when you don't have anything connected, that's what it does. Anyway, I guess someone said that's the signal. Jason Hoffar said it's a signal to end. Yeah, you're probably right. So next time, if I do another quick stream, see, I wasn't planning this stream, and so since I wasn't planning it, I didn't have it charged up all the way. So I'm going to go ahead and end the stream right now. I appreciate you all participating and joining for this kind of flash stream. Appreciate all the donators and the top fans. Who is it? You all can see this, can't you? Kaimani, because of all the donations. Hank the Tank, Man from Somewhere with his donation. Brian Nussbaum with his free membership. Snake Spider Scorpion with all the comments. Official Red Wolf had a donation. Carmichael had a donation. And then everybody else with their participation. Such a Turd donated. I really appreciate it. I'm going to end the stream now. I hope you all have a wonderful evening wherever you are. And I'll see you tomorrow for SpongeBob Mimic Madness. Have a wonderful evening and a great day tomorrow. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.